Hello everyone, this is Sai Krishna in Love with Marketing. Today we're going to look into something that gives an edge for your account-based marketing. That's account intelligence. Imagine organizations trying to find out their accounts without understanding their buyer intent. And what happens? Marketing teams are going to spend more than 35% of their expenditure that going in waste because of the poor quality data, because the data is fragmented. The data that they want to collect about the buyer's intent is at different places scattered around, and they're not able to make use of it, and they're not even able to capture many of the times. And this is resulting in account based marketing with less efficiency. And today we're going to look at account intelligence that empowers your account based marketing. Let's go ahead. Account intelligence is nothing but it's all about capturing data that will help us in understanding what are the organizations that are looking for our product or products that are similar to ours. And this will help us in finding out hot opportunities and also close the deals quicker. This intent data comes from two parties, first party and the third party. The first party is nothing but our website, our emails, our ad impressions, and our CRM as well. The third party data is nothing but the company's details that we get from different vendors, and they provide the organization name, size, industry, and the technographics, firmographic, and also buyer intent as well. And combine these two, and when we unify this data, the marketers and the sales team will be enabled in finding out the right account list that they can focus on and also close the deals at the quickest time. In this session, we are going to look at how to work on that intent data, make use of intent data, and also what are the factors that will define the success of making use of our intent data. When it comes to collecting the third party data, we have organizations such as TechTarget, Madison Logic, G2, Bombora, Demandbase, Sixsense, and others. And these organizations help us by providing the third party data that along with the buyer intent data as well. When it comes to intent data, there are four critical stages. The very first one is about the collecting the data. And the second one is about identifying the accounts. The third one is about analyzing the data. And the fourth one is about identifying the patterns that will help us in prioritizing the accounts. When it comes to about collecting the data, it's very important that we have two scenarios here. One, logged in users, and two, people who are not logged in but still exploring the content. In the scenario of logged in users, the publishers have the data which organizations are surfing or exploring or reaching which content. And but in the case of people who are not logged in, and they don't have the publishers doesn't have the first hand data of the organizations or the people who are surfing that. In that case, the websites collect the timestamp, they collect anonymized cookie along with the IP address. So these are the three things that they will capture to understand which organization people are exploring which content. And when it comes to these vendors, they basically approach three ways. TechTarget have their own websites where the content that they provide is a gated content, and so one has to log in to access their content, and so they have a very good understanding on which organizations are exploring which content, and so which product or solution is that they would be looking at. When it comes to demand base, they do this by advertising in more than 2 million websites, and that way they capture non-logged in users as well, which content are they exploring. When it comes to Bombora, they have collaborated with more than 4,000 plus B2B websites that will help them in capturing the data. So these are the three major ways that these vendors get the data. And it's very important for us to know how do they capture the data. Based upon that, we would also understand what is the quality of the data that we are being given. And the second step is about identifying the accounts. With the case of logged in users, the publishers have very accurate data, and with the case of where people are not logged in, we would be getting data based upon the IP address and based upon the anonymized cookie and the timestamp. In the case of people who don't log in, people work from different places, especially with the work from home scenario. It is very difficult for us to identify people who are working for what organization. And in that case, these kind of cookies, you will track them continuously, and they will try to find out which kind of websites are they opening more frequently, and they tend to presume that this is the company they belong to. And that's how we need to understand that identifying the accounts based upon the data source, it's going to play a crucial role. And the third point is that, or the third step that we say, is that analyzing the data that we have got. And once they get the data, the way the kind of algorithm that they use to capture what kind of intent are they carrying. There are some providers who just read the meta tags, or the whatever that hidden tags that are put in the website. They take them for granted, and then they associate them with the explorer, and they try to put the label on it. But not necessarily that. It's very difficult for us to understand. When you look at a website, the hidden meta tags will not define what you are looking, what is the content that you are exploring exactly, isn't it? And they need not always play the relevance game or the context game, isn't it? It's like, let's say that you are trying to explore something on the data security or cyber security, and just because you have a keyword called security, when someone is looking at a web page with a national security advisor, it is completely irrelevant, right? So some data providers, they just give us based upon the keywords or keyword set, and that will not really fit into the best intent data that we can bank on. So it's very important that what is the algorithm, the science of the algorithm that is running behind the data is quite important for us. And the fourth important point that helps us in prioritizing the accounts is nothing but, how do we detect the patterns hidden inside the data. We need to understand, we need to find out the cluster of keywords, the timelines associated with them, or if there are any rarest keywords that that are being triggered, because few keywords or few contexts are very rare, and you can't really back up on the volume there, so we cannot miss on that kind of data. So we need to identify patterns, and that's very important for us in finding out the hot opportunities. Four important things that we need to keep in mind while choosing an intent data vendor. One, the source of the data, where they are capturing the data from, the volume of the data, and also that will help us in understanding the quality of the data. Two, the science behind the algorithm that designs the accuracy of the intent. Three, the frequency with which they keep updating their data set, or they keep updating their intent data. Four, keyword taxonomy. Some organizations say that these are the set of keywords that we have, and you will have to select among them. But whereas some organizations give us the flexibility of setting up our own keywords that is very appropriate to our products or solutions. It's all good by getting the intent data, but is it finished? No. Getting the intent data is just half the journey. And how do we make sure that we are using this intent data to our best? That 67% of the companies have told that they're not able to make the best use of this intent data. That's because they're not able to unify the data from the first party and the third party. Very important thing that we need to understand here is that before getting the buyer's intent data, we need to have a plan to operationalize this data. How are we going to use this data? This intent data can be used by marketing team, by sales team. By marketing team, it can help us to understand what are the current topics that people are looking at, and what is the content that we'll have to work on, for different content marketing or different advertisings as well. When it comes to sales team, they can identify the hottest opportunities that are in the market, right in the purchase cycle. It could be as well, and close the deals quicker. One of the important aspects of making the best use of intent data is data segmentation. Yes, the intent data that we get has to be segmented well enough that it will give us the list with a prioritized list of accounts that we can focus on. And how do we segment this data? We can base upon these regular fields that we look at, like something company, industry, number of employees, technographics, firmographics. And also apart from this, we can look at designing custom variables. And these custom variables can be like some kind of activities that they have been doing. It could be, the kind of topic that they are searching, or very rare keyword that they are searching, or the webinars they have been attending. And these are the activities that can be tracked and put into a custom variable. And also another custom variable could be a logic inference, that through certain activities, something like hiring a new team, or adopting new technologies in the market. And these kind of custom variables will help us in defining our specific accounts that we can focus on. I hope you enjoyed this session on account intelligence using intent data that will help your account based marketing to be taken to a new level. I wish you a great marketing ahead.